Guys, let me just first apologize for this late video. I totally forgot that today was Friday, and normally I would have a video scheduled to be posted at 9 in the morning, but I don't know what happened today. Today I just totally forgot that, you know, it was a Friday and I'm supposed to upload a video. This morning I got up late and I did a lot of stuff, left the house and stuff like that. So now I'm actually doing a video for you guys because I totally forgot. But I promise next week I won't be late. 9 a.m. the video will be ready. Alright, so I'm going to be editing one of these images. I think I'm going to do this one. So as you can see, by the extension, you know, this AR double extension means that I was using a Sony camera. My shutter speed was 1/200 of a second. I was shooting at f1.4, ISO 100, as you can see on the screen. 85mm lens. Alright. One of my subscribers were asking if I could actually do the adjustments in Photoshop in Lightroom before I actually go in Photoshop. And honestly, I don't like making the adjustments in Lightroom first because the same options are in Camera Raw, so I don't see the sense making the adjustments in Lightroom, and I can actually just do everything in Camera Raw. But for the sake of that subscriber, I'm just going to make some adjustments in Lightroom before I go into Photoshop. So the first thing I'm going to do is to play with the shadows. I'm going to pull the shadows in a little bit, just right there. Normally what I would do is to press auto, so let me just press auto now. So auto is normally the first thing I would do if I'm in Camera Raw. So yeah, so auto is the first thing, and then I'll just pull back some of these options here, so maybe right there for the blocks. There's nothing else really for me to do right here. I could play with the dehaze, but I normally like to do the adjustments for dehaze and stuff like that. Well, any color adjustments, I like to do that in Photoshop. So basically there's nothing major I need to do more than just press auto in Lightroom. Trust me, there's nothing else to, because all these options here are actually in Camera Raw, and it just works better for me. So Control E to bring it over to Photoshop. It's loading. Alright, good. So I'm in Photoshop now. So what I'm going to do now is to work on the skin. I'm just going to do some mixing. So the first thing I'm going to come over here is to come over here to frequency separation. And you can download the frequency separation action by using the link in my description, or the description of this video. Alright, then I'm going to go down to the low frequency layer. I'm going to zoom up on my image a little bit. And then I'm going to come over here to the mixer brush and ensure that the mixer brush is cleared. You can just click on this as the arrow right here and clear the brush. Your wet is going to be at 2% and everything else remains the same. Alright, so I'm just going to zoom up on the model's face. Press enter. Then with the mixer brush, I'm going to get it smaller. I'm just going to mix. So I'm just flattening the skin. You have to be careful sometimes. If you have, I'm seeing here that we have some light right here, and right here have some light as well. So sometimes you have to be careful when you're mixing, because if the skin has two different color, or if it has light and shadow close to each other, it can cause a problem. So you have to just take your time and just do the adjustments. Alright, let's look at the before and after for just that little portion. So that and that. Yeah. It's going to come down to the nose bridge now. It's going to stay in the highlighted area, in the dark area. So remember, each time when you're brushing, try to stay in the shaded area. And then when you finish, you just go into the highlighted area. So what I'm trying to do right now is to just soften the pimples so I can remove them using the clone stamp tool. So I'm just taking my time and mixing. When you're doing mixing, I would suggest not to rush, because if you rush, you might miss certain things. You might not see that you're over mixing a certain section of the skin. So take your time, brush it, take a look, do before and after, and just to ensure that, you know, what you're doing makes sense. Alright, I think I am done with that. So I'm going to go here to the high frequency layer. I'm going to press S on the keyboard for the clone stamp tool, which is this tool right here. I'm at 100% for the flow, 100% for the opacity. And then I'm going to make selections now. I'm going to make a selection for a clean area on the skin, and then I'm going to mix over the pimple. Alright, there are times when you do, did I say mix? No, you're going to use the clone stamp and remove the pimples. There are times though you have to like do it then undo, because you might sample from an area where it's too bright or too dark. So just take your time and do this. Alright, alright, that looks good. So all I'm doing is sampling a clean area, and then just paint over the area I'd like to remove. That's all I'm doing. I was trying to remove that spot there, but it's not working. I think I may have to use, I'm going to use J for the patch tool. I'm going to remove this right here. So you can use a patch tool as well to remove different sections, different, well, pimples and blemishes from the skin. You don't always have to use the clone stamp tool or healing brush or whatever tool you use. You can always mix it up. But then again, it all depends on what works for you, right? Alright, so I think I'm done with the face. I'm going to come down to the neck. Alright, you know what? Before I go any further, let me show you guys how I actually did this shot. Alright, take a look at this. So I'm using the Sony A7 III as usual, and the Rokinon autofocus 85mm 1.4 lens, and I'll be shooting at 1.4. So yeah, just like that. Nice. And more. Good. Can you look over to that direction, please? Sweet. Alright, just like that. Yeah. Nice. One more. Let me just check these and see what it looks like. Let me zoom up some more. Alright, looks sharp. It looks sharp. Alright, get some more. Okay, welcome back. So I'm going to go back down to the low frequency layer right here, and then I'm going to mix. I'm going to press B on the keyboard for the mixer brush. That's the shortcut I use. So my mixer brush is going to be, no. B is for the brush, and if you hold on the brush here, under it you'll see the mixer brush, but my shortcut for the mixer brush is M and not B. Alright, so I'm just going to mix right here. Just flattening the lines under the neck, or just get the skin in one. So instead of you using dodge and blur to blur out the skin, I would just suggest that you use the mixer brush, and it will retain the texture in the skin. So that's what I would suggest. Alright. Oh, I actually bought a new video card. I should install it. I bought the, I don't remember the name of it. It's the 2080 graphics card. Yeah, I bought that graphics card. I want to install it. I'm building a new system. I'm gonna build an Intel system. I'm using AMD right now, so I want to build a new system. So I bought that card to use for the new system, but I'm gonna test it in this AMD system to see how well it actually works, because from I got the card I didn't test it, so I'm gonna test it now so I can actually, you know, see how better it is. But I think I should actually just do the test in an Intel system, but nah, I'm just gonna try in this AMD system and see what it looks like. So the next time you see my videos, you won't see any log like this. You won't see the video looking like this anymore, because what I did was to turn off the what do you call it, this thing. Turn off this thing right here. I think you go to edit, preference, performance. So I basically turn off the video card because it takes so long to load. For some reason I don't know what's happening to this video card, why it takes so long to load when I'm doing certain things. So I just turn it off, the graphic processor. So I'm just using the memory basically. So that's why you're seeing that log on the screen. But I am going to take out this card and test the other card and see if there's any difference. Alright, so she had a band-aid on her hand, so I'm just gonna do that. Alright, let me just remove this right now. I'm just come to the high frequency layer, press J on the keyboard for the patch tool. If you ever click on the patch tool and you're not seeing, or click on, well, if you're not seeing the patch tool here, it's normally under the healing brush or spot healing brush, but whatever tool you use constantly, that's the tool that's going to be on top. So you can hold it on Control J and well, not Control J, you can hold on Shift J just to change the tool. So hold on Shift J and press J. Well, hold on Shift and press J until it goes to the tool that you want. Alright, I think I can work with that for now. It's a good thing that these images, I won't be uploading them to they won't be printed. They're gonna be just uploaded to my Instagram page, so I don't necessarily have to do any detail editing like that, but I still have to fix certain things. If I'm doing like a commercial type of shoot, definitely my editing process would be different and my shooting process would be different. For stuff like this, I would try to get rid of it on spot, on set. So when I come into Photoshop, I won't have that work. I won't have that to remove, you know. So things like that you have to take into consideration. Try to clean up everything as best as possible on location, and don't rely on Photoshop to remove certain things from the model's body, because it's a lot of work and you could actually fix that on set, so to reduce your editing time. So you have to think about that. Alright, so I think that is it for the image. Oh, I need to do the foot as well, the thigh. So M on the keyboard. So if you see here, we have like it's like fat a little bit. I'm just going to go to the low frequency layer and it's gonna blend everything together. Good. So that's done. Let's look at the before and after for everything. So before, let me just zoom it up a little bit more so you guys can see. Not sure why this is taking so long to zoom, but okay. Let me just scroll up. Alright, good. So that's the before, that's the after. Alright, good. So we're just going to zoom up the image a little bit more and see if there's anything else there for me to remove. I could remove right here, but nah, let that stay. I can do that at the end. I think I'm going to fix this right here. So I'm going to click on the high frequency layer. Then I'm going to press J on the keyboard for the patch tool. I'm just going to remove this, put it down here. Done. I could maybe do the same thing with this. Let me just do this. Bring it up right there to in one line. Perfect. Alright, so I don't think there's anything else for me to do right there. So I am going to create a new layer. Oh, I'm going to create a new layer. Control Shift Alt E. Normally I would do what do you call it? Dodge and burning now, but no, I'm not going to do dodge and burning now. I'm just going to do some color grading right now. So I'm going to do another duplicate. Control J, and then I'm going to go to Camera Raw by going to Filter, Camera Raw, and as I said before, the same settings inside of Lightroom, the same settings here, so there's no difference in making the adjustments. It's just that I love to do everything in Photoshop. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do now is to play with the temperature a little bit. So I'm going to bring the temperature over here to blue just a little bit. Alright, I'm gonna bring it over to yellow. See what it looks like. Alright, I think I like yellow more. So I'm gonna put 4% of the temperature there, the yellow. And then I'm gonna come down here to dehaze. Alright, so the skin is a little bit too yellow. I'm just gonna bring this back over here to, you know what, 0. Because the dehaze give me some colors, and I think I like the skin color I'm getting from the dehaze. Then I'm going to go to highlights and play with the highlights a little bit. So if you look in the background here on the river, the water, the highlights, I'm just going to lower the highlights here, maybe about right there. Then the shadows, I'm going to bring out some of the shadows like that. Alright, and then I'm going to come down here to vibrance and put a little bit of vibrance in there. I'm going to come over here to the HSL option. Before I go to the HSL option, I'm going to do split toning color grading. I've never used this option before, but I saw it recently and I said, you know what, I need to try it out. So this option here, or this section here, if you move the sliders, you won't see anything at all, right? But the trick with this is that if you hold on Alt on the keyboard and you move a slider, it will show you what it will look like in the shadow. And in the highlights, this is what it looks like in the highlights. If you don't want to do it that way, you can always use the saturation. Move the saturation up and down. So when you move this, you'll see exactly what is happening. Alright? So now I'm going to, so the entire image looks green. I'm going to pump some color in it, right? So I'm going to hold on Alt, and then I'm just going to move the hue a little bit over to about, maybe about right, well, you know what, let me come back right here to about orange, like right here. Good. Alright, and then I'm going to use the saturation now and pull this up just a little bit. Alright, look at the before and after for that. So you see what I just did? I just do some split tone adjustments, and this is what I got. See that? Awesome, right? Alright, good. So I don't think I need to do anything with the highlights, but I maybe just try something. Let me just hold on Alt again and just bring the highlight over. Maybe go over to the blue. Maybe the blue right here. And then release, and then use the saturation right here and just pump this in a little bit. Maybe right there is good. Nothing else. I don't need to do anything else with the color splitting. Alright, so I'm going to go to the HSL option now and do some adjustments there. So under the hue, I'm going to play with the greens in the background. So I'm going to adjust this right here and see what the greens look like. So I could go with the green like this. or I could go with the earth tone. But guess what? I'm going to go with the greens, right? So right there, and then the yellows, I'm going to bring this right there. And then her skin color, I'm going to play with a little bit. And to adjust the skin color, you can use the orange slider. All right, so see that? I could go green, I could go red. So I'm just going to pump a little bit of color in it, maybe about right there. Just a little bit. And you can see the before and after. You can see, you know, the difference between that skin and that skin, all right? I don't think I need to do anything else. I think I'm done with the color grading in this. So I'm just going to press OK. Good. So that is the before. That is the after. That is the before. That is the after. So for everybody who's asking me how to do color grading is pretty simple. Pretty simple. If you want a particular color, I mean, you can just go in and adjust it and do the masking and mask out what side you don't want. For example, let's say I want over here to be in blue now, all right? What I could do, all right, so I'm just going to duplicate this one. And then let's say I go over to, I could actually use the same color. I could actually use the same split. Let me come back to color grade right here. Not color grade, color balance. And then we could go over here to the split. And then we could hold on Alt again. I would just put blue, right? Then use the saturation and pull up the blues. Right there, good. Then you press OK. So what I could actually do now, if I want to have blue on this side, what I could do now is to hold on Alt and press the masking tool down here. Good. And then I could just get my brush, press B on the keyboard for the brush. The brush is at 50%. I'm going to bring it down to about, well, I could put it at 70%, all right? Get my brush bigger, and then I could just paint the blue over to this side. See? So, I mean, there's many different ways you could actually do this. We could actually use a gradient to get the blue over here. So, I mean, it's just up to you. You just have to be creative when you're doing your color grading, all right? But I like when my photos look natural. I don't like to change the colors. I don't want it to look surreal at all or unrealistic. So that's my thing. So yeah, that is it now for the color grading. So the last step now, well, not the last step, but the next thing I'm gonna do is to do dodge and burning. Good. I'm gonna press B on the keyboard, and they'll get my flow to 1%. And then I'm going to just, actually I don't really think, oh yeah, I think I can do some dodging right here. And dodging is basically the highlights. I'm going to do some highlights for the hand. Before and after. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to do any highlighting, but I just love to add extra stuff to my images. I'm going to go to the dodge and maybe just do the edge. Alright, I'm going to go back here and just get rid of some of the burning. I keep saying the wrong tools. So I'm going to go to burn and just burn the leg a little bit, the thigh a little bit. Go back here, going to zoom the image in. And then I'm going to do some dodging on the nose, so a little bit of some more highlights. Just highlights. Highlights. Right. This section of her skin is a little bit lighter than everywhere else, so we're going to adjust that by just creating a new layer. Normally I would use the color correction layer right here, but I didn't use it, so I'm just going to create a new layer here. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to sample by holding on I and sample this dark area right here. With my brush at 1%, I'm just going to paint this area here, because I want it to be a little bit darker than what it is right now. Alright, so before, after. I think I need to blend it out a little bit more. Alright. Okay, I think I like that. I'm gonna do one more adjustment. I'm gonna create a new layer. As a matter of fact, no, I'm gonna come right here and click the curve tool. I'm just gonna darken this a little bit. Then I'm gonna click on the curve mask and then Control I to invert. And then with my brush at 1% for flow, I'm just gonna paint right here as well. Just darken it a little bit. So before and after. So I'm just trying to match it basically. It's not perfect, but you get the drift, right? I think I need to go back down here to my brush. Select this dark area here and get it smaller. And brush right here. Alright, good. It's not perfect, but you get the drift. I'm gonna come down here, but I'm gonna put everything in a group. Control G, and then I'm gonna create a new frequency separation layer. So I click on the background first and then click the frequency separation. And then I'm going to come here, go to the low frequency layer, press M on the keyboard for my mixer brush. I'm just gonna mix right here. Trying to get everything even. Let me zoom out a little bit more. I'm gonna go to the top frequency layer here. I'm just trying to blend everything out. So I'm just trying to, because I'm seeing like a mark right here. Actually, it's not doing anything. Oh, guess what? I'm not seeing any adjustments because it's below the group itself. So let's bring it to the top and see what happens. Control Shift right bracket. It looks better. Before and after. Before and after. So all this time I was making the adjustment and nothing was happening because the frequency separation layer was under the group, which hides what I was actually doing. So I'm going to lower the opacity a little bit because that section looks a little bit flat. So I'm just going to bring this down a little bit. Maybe about right there should be good. Yeah, right there. Right, so I am basically done with that portion. I think I want to do some more blending right here. Even though the opacity is low, I'm still going to use this low. I'm still going to do some blending. Alright, that looks good. Alright, good. So the next step now is to work on our eyes. I think I need to get rid of some of the yellow in our eye. So I'm going to close this, go to the top, click Clean Teeth and Eyes. Press B on the keyboard for my brush. I'm at 1%. I'm going to move this to about 48%. Just going to get rid of some of the yellow. That looks good. I'm going to create another curve adjustment layer. Bring this up right. Click on the adjustment layer, Control I to invert. Get my brush at opacity for the flow at about 6, and then I'm just going to paint the eye. Just giving it a highlight, basically. For some reason, oh, it's moving slow. Alright, good. So I'm going to Control Shift Alt E to create a new layer. And then I'm going to remove these rings from the nostril, like the ones here. The back. So I'm going to press J for the patch tool. I'm just going to patch these. Just going to do this one as well. Alright. That looks good. One more. Perfect. Good. So we have a really nice image right here. All right, so one more thing I'm going to do. I'm just going to add the color lookup to it. I always love to add my color lookup. Then I'm going to lower the opacity to about 41% before, after. 41% no, I'm going to come down to about 22% before and after. Good. So that is it for the image. There's nothing else I am going to do with this image. What I could even do, I could even crop this image if I want. I could just crop it. You know, I like this. I could just crop it like this. That's a beautiful image as well. I think I like this more than this. I don't know. I might just save both of them. I might just save both of them, but I like this more. The size, all right, what I just cropped it to just now was the portrait size for Instagram. So you can just click on you can just press C on the keyboard for the crop tool. And then you can come here and go to 4:5 ratio, which is 8:10. I actually love this. I rather this than the wide image. So this portrait image looks good. I'm going to use this, right? All right, so that's it for the image. Thank you guys for watching. Let me just do a before and after quickly. Duplicate. Hope you guys subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for more videos. Let me just go to view. No, arrange. Vertical. Good. So this is the after and this is the before. Yep, you can see the big difference. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned next week for another video, and yeah, bye bye.
I belong to you. I belong to you.